Welcome to the Sister Street Show with Mary Nunnally and Sharon Otaguero, interactive show and virtual playground where we explore topics around entrepreneurship, online and in-person events, and the games that can be played with all of it. We invite you on our journey of sisterhood discovery and trial and error in the adventures of online entrepreneurship.
Aloha, everyone. Welcome back to the Sister Street Show. It is your hosts, Mary Nunnally from Lavender Dragon, Sharon Otagoro from Scalable Wealth Advising, and your sisters in this journey. Season 3 of the Sister Street. It is about apprenticeship as an entrepreneur. Now, this is not because you don't know entrepreneurship, but this is because if you have been in entrepreneurship and have struggled a little bit here and there, felt stuck, needed a little more clarity, and want to do life and business together, we are the sisterhood that are here to support you from an online entrepreneurial perspective, an off-roading corporate perspective, and a have fun while you're failing forward and leveling up perspective. Mary, welcome to the show with me again.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm so excited about this episode because so many people really think about apprenticeship as something that is a skilled trade. And being an entrepreneur, in my mind, is also a skilled trade because there are so many things that you don't know when you start out. And the bigger question is you don't know what questions to ask because you don't know what you don't know. And so having an apprenticeship, in my mind, gives you permission to ask a lot of questions, make mistakes, and be guided by other people that have gone in front of you that can kind of help you along the way, whether it's sharing their insights and wisdom, pointing to resources, or just kind of saying, it's okay, this is a mistake, or this is a challenge that most of us have faced. And so let's get started. So I was so excited when we were planning this and we decided on an apprenticeship style theme for this series. So thank you for kicking us off, and let's get started.
Let's get started. Yes, apprenticeship, it is giving you the muscle memory. So we're moving into a new quarter. Yes, Sister Street starts our year in February because let's face it, the holidays are crazy and it takes just a little bit more time to get strategic. It also gives us that traction that we need. So we are moving in and starting that next quarter in the year of the entrepreneurship. And you need to reset your vision. You need to re-clarify your goals. And that is what we thought would be of best help to create that muscle memory for you in this first episode of the Apprenticeship at Sisterhood. Mary, tell us what we're going to be diving into.
Sure. So Sharon, thanks. So if you recall, if you've been watching for a while, we talked about establishing your why-denitity. So what is your why for being in business and how does that tie into your personal identity and your business identity? And I know that this is something that I myself have struggled with because it's like, well, my why is, to quit the corporate rat race and make enough money to pay the bills. And as Sharon and I have gone through this, she would ask me more questions. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, what about this? And in that episode, we also talked about how the why could be something as simple as I want to have this side hustle so that I can pay for my kids' piano lessons or sports gear or take the family on vacation. So you don't necessarily need this like huge why, although eventually you want to get there. So today, what we're going to be talking about is again, that why identity, how to get clear. And one of the tools that Sharon and I have both used very successfully, which is using a vision board, or for some people, a mind map to help you get clear on those goals. So before we get into the vision board and the mind mapping part, Sharon, why don't we kind of go through how somebody's why identity might have changed from 3 months ago?
Absolutely. I mean, you've seen us go through with certain special guests that came from corporate to entrepreneurship back to corporate. You've seen some of whom doubled down because their families were in entrepreneurship for so many years and actually a couple generations. And you've seen us explore some of the different avenues of this online business, this entrepreneurial journey, and the tools that might come into play that you will have have to have adequacy or mastery on. Now, as you've gone through that, you may have shifted an identity piece. What do you call yourself? And let's just start with that, with the identity, right, Mary? Are you a entrepreneur? Are you a corporate entrepreneurial minded professional? Are you a side hustler? Are you a corporate off-roader, meaning you're going to get out of it, but you're still, 9 to 5, 9 to 7, driving forward in and doubling down with your current role? All of those are different in their identities. And as you've trekked with us on this adventure, hopefully you've dug into that identity and figured out, well, why am I doing this? Why do I want to keep doing this? Or why does that identity have to shift? And that in these last few months, hopefully became more clear to you, so that your why identity, your purpose for getting out of bed, is so much clearer. My purpose is my children, modeling for them what's possible, that they can take whichever choice they choose into their own hands, and that those journeys are both successful, because my husband is full corporate identity and I am now full entrepreneur identity. But it's been a shifting process. So where are you now? And we'd love to see you drop in the chat what your why-denity is, just from the start of, who are you? Are you mom? Are you career mom? Are you entrepreneur? Or any other term that comes to mind? But what is your current why-denity?
Oh, I love it, Sharon. And one of the things that I see people struggle with, myself included, is oftentimes we feel that our identity is only one piece of ourselves. So it's like, well, if I'm an entrepreneur, then I have to let all those other parts of me slide. And what I found helpful for me is go, okay, at my core, who am I? What is my identity? But then, just like the flower in your logo, you have all of these other pieces that make up your identity. So at my core, here's who I am, and that's my identity, and that's why I'm in business. However, that doesn't mean that I also can't be a parent, can't be a friend, can't be a volunteer, but at my core, I have this entrepreneurial spirit. And so if I was to say my identity it's an introverted entrepreneur. And so I think that may help some people too. Think about, how do you reframe that, and think about, who are you? Who's your essence? And then what are all these other pieces of you? What do you think?
I love it. And I also love why we do this together, Mary, because I think that's so important, is going to your core and knowing at your center who you are. And I tend to go wax big and get, huge story making. And I know we both do this, so we sort of toggle back and forth.
Yeah.
For me, I go to the big picture and I say, okay, I at my core am Sharon. That's what I say. Yes, that means I have some egocentrism in me, and ultimately we're the only people that are born with us and die with us, right? So that's who I am at my core. But I then come to, from my identity, as big as my cosmos can create. So I go to the big picture. If I'm looking at this whole world, this whole ecosystem of Sharon and all the people she knows and all the roles that she plays, then what is the common theme? Because that helps me then dive into the channels of whichever business, whichever role I'm working within. And so that big picture for me is I connect the dots and I build bridges. And that helps me see, okay, what is my process? Or what are the things that matter to me in all aspects? And then I can come back into mom and say, well, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to build bridges between home and school. Well, in work, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to connect the dots between people and profit, right? And so there's things that you can see from a core or a big picture, and you may fall somewhere in between that, guys. And that is exactly where you should be. But we encourage you, and that's part of what this vision board process is there for, to run the gamut, right? Go up and down the spectrum and see, where do you feel comfortable and where are you starting to find your core or nexus of all those different big, small picture pieces where hey, this is what gets me out of bed every morning. What do you think?
I think it's great. And again, we look at it from different perspectives. I'm very much a big picture person, but when it comes down to my identity, It really starts with that internal, like, who am I? And again, like you were saying, how do all these pieces connect? And as we talk about vision boards too, I've struggled with vision boards over the years because so often when I've attended a vision board workshop or a vision board presentation, it's go to a magazine or go to the internet, cut out these pictures of what you imagine your life like. And first of all, I'm much more of a audio or printed word, less of a picture thing. And the other thing is, while I'm big picture, it's very hard for me to imagine what 5 or 10 years is going to look like from now. It's just like I have a hard enough time sometimes thinking like what next week is going to look like, let alone 5 or 10 years. And the reason I'm saying that is that while Sharon and I are saying, yes, this vision board activity is very helpful, don't beat yourself up if you're just like, but I can't get past, next week, next month. That's okay. Start small. Think about, okay, what does your vision for the next year, or not even next year, next week look like? Ease into it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And don't feel like you're a failure. Again, this is what apprenticeship is about. Don't feel like you're a failure because you can't get your 5-year plan down in paper. Maybe you're not ready for it yet. Maybe you haven't like wrapped your head around the fact that I'm going to be in business 5 years from now.
Exactly. All right. So as you guys are seeing the possibilities within setting our visions, we have a special treat for the Sister Street audience. Mary, tell us what's coming up.
Sure. Thank you, Sharon. So for those of you that may have attended the Entrepreneur Summit, if depending on when you're watching this is probably a couple of weeks ago. Check out the Entrepreneur podcast. I was one of the summit speakers and I was talking about storyboarding, which is something that I use regularly in course creation. Well, through the conversation and with the audience participation, it was decided that Mary should do a workshop with Sharon on how to storyboard your life. And so you might be saying, well, what does that have to do with vision boards? Well, a lot of it, it's that same thing. We're going to show you some tools and techniques for storyboarding your life. We're going to focus on storyboarding a week in your life, but you can take that information and apply that to your vision board for your business, for your Why-denitity. And so that event is set for June the 20th at 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. And we'll post information and a registration link and everything on the sisterstreet.show website so that we can move forward with it.
Yes, so we hope to see you there. It is a great way to have a different type of visual when you're setting your visions forward. And as we just talked about in the show, there are different methods that are going to make more sense to you, whether it's words or whether it's pictures, whether it's audio. So this is another option for you and something that we encourage you to try to make sure that you are vision boarding your best life and storyboarding your perfect week.
I love it. And for those of you who are going, I've heard about vision boards, but I've never done one. Don't feel bad. There's lots of people who haven't done one. Sharon, why don't you tell them about the resource that we have available for them for free on sisterstreet.show?
It'd be my pleasure. So we have for you a worksheet and resource bundle to help you get your visions down on paper and up in the world. We say down on paper and up in the world because there's a couple different options as you work through the activities in this resource bundle. You will be able to choose which medium works best for you. You will be able to see the details step by step to create your next vision board. And therefore, hopefully you're going to get some of your visions and some of your dreams down on a media that you will see in front of you that will pull you forward. Now, there are a couple of sort of ninja tricks that we like to add in there. And so we want to encourage you to do that and add those into these pages as you move forward. One of them is to make sure you have a picture of yourself, happy, smiling with the people that you love. Oftentimes when people are doing vision boards, they create this vision, but they don't put themselves in the vision. And so make sure you have that picture of yourself. And then the second thing is to make sure that you, once you finish this, put it in a place that's prominent and feel into that future. So looking at that picture, using those words that you put on the medium, whether it's on paper, whether it's on the digital screen, then put yourself into that picture and feel the feelings that you would feel once you've attained all of your images and all of your dreams. Mary, what else do you think we should make sure that people know about this process and this resource bundle?
So I think the other part of the process that's worked for me is to use multicolored pens and create different lines with the pen colors representing different things. So I use green for money and finances. I use purple for business because Lavender Dragon team. Maybe it's blue for vacation because you like to vacation on the water. Maybe it's red or pink for family things because the love, we associate red with hearts and love and that sort of thing. Again, not telling you what to do, but finding that for some people, especially if you do more of a sketch version instead of cutting pictures out, you may find that those help tie the threads together, but it all comes back to you.
So good. Yes, I love that. And guys, we want you to share your visions with us because we want to support you in your
Yes.
journey. So make sure that you go to our Facebook page for this and drop the vision board. We'd love before and afters and put them into our Facebook world as your vision so that we can support you, we can give you encouragement, we can reinforce and put affirmations to the vision that you are creating for your life and this adventure that we call business. Also, yes, we're going to do some fun things for you to make sure that you are moving forward with this and give you some examples. Mary, tell us a little bit about what's coming.
Sure. So we will have a bonus episode for you that kind of walks you through how to put your vision board together and shows some before and after. So if you'd like, perhaps Sharon and I can share our vision board with you just so you get a sense of not only two different styles of creating, but what we've done. And we'll even share a little bit about how things have changed over time, because that's the other part of it. Just because you put something down on your vision board doesn't mean that you can't change. As you change, as your goals change, as your business changes, as your situation changes. One of the things that I had on my vision board in 2020 was to go on a European cruise. We thought it was going to happen in 2023. Unfortunately, given the current geopolitical situation, a cruise that includes visiting parts of Eastern Europe is probably not going to happen for us. So it's like, okay, it was on my vision board. That doesn't mean that I have to do that. It just means that maybe I need to change my expectations of a cruise or of a vacation. And so I got to go back and revisit that and go, okay, now what would my perfect vacation look like? And so it's okay. It's okay to change. It's okay to say, I've outgrown this. And this is why I really think sometimes starting with your week or month, if you've never done a vision board, is a great way to jump in, because it's less threatening. It's like, oh no, I don't have to have these grandiose ideas. And so we're going to share some of that with you as well. And then we've got some more things planned for apprenticeship. We're going to give you some tools that will help you with your business level one, getting those first 10 customers, which we'll talk about that on the next episode.
Excellent. So we look forward to seeing your vision board, everyone. Make sure you drop that on the Facebook page, sisterstreet.show, so that we can see all that you're doing. And don't take this too seriously and put your intention into it. Where your
Yes.
intention goes, the energy flows. And if we're focused on what we want, we're not going to be focused on all those other pesky little worries and anxieties that crop up. So put that intention in there, but don't stress about any artistry, because this is, as we said with apprenticeship, this is building muscle memory. This is practicing our intention, our goal setting, our vision of the future. And, you're going to feel those moments where it's like, well, this may or may not be for me. And that's perfectly part of the process. That's great. That is exactly where you should be. And by stepping forward, you're building that courage muscle as well, and that creativity expression.
So one last thing, because I just am in the mood to get the last word today. For those of you that think vision board might be too woo or too out there, and you're especially if you're coming from a corporate space, think about in the business world, like in my experience as a manager and everything, I had to put together an annual forecast of revenue, a monthly forecast of revenue, a weekly and a daily forecast. That was my financial vision board. And so for those of you that are just like, oh, this whole pictures and drawing and blah, 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 businesses do this all the time. They don't call it vision board. They call it forecast, projections. There's a lot of names for it. So if that's more of your comfort zone, then start out there and focus on that. And then maybe you might get a little bit more artistic and add a few doodles or something, but go with what's comfortable for you. And Sharon, that's the last thing I have to say today.
That was excellent. Excellent. All right, guys. Well, we hope to see you back very soon with your vision boards. As we said, we'll drop that bonus episode. And until then,
Ohana to you. Not enough caffeine, that's for sure.
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for future videos.